great to be here and to have the opportunity to gather with you great patriots who are serving your Commonwealth and your country. We come to you this morning from the Capitol steps in Richmond, Virginia, home of the oldest continuous operating legislative body in the Western world. What a great privilege to serve there and to represent the good people of the 51st House District. We are here today for this very reason, this very document, the Constitution of the United States of America, and most specifically for the 10th Amendment, the powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to the states respectively or to the people, and that is you. So are you ready to do as Lincoln said, plant your feet, stand firm, and do not move? Yes, sir. This past summer, I knocked on 27,000 doors, and I am pleased to say that was more doors than any candidate for the House of Delegates knocked on within the Commonwealth of Virginia. And what I began hearing starting in May and running up all the way through the election on November the 3rd was a sentiment within the people, within the 51st District, and by an overwhelming margin that A, we would win this election, and two, that there is a very strong sentiment that we need to reclaim what is rightfully ours under this 10th Amendment to this most precious document, the United States Constitution. Right. Like some of you, many of you in this crowd, I took an oath of office while attired in the military uniform of our country. Senator Jay O'Brien and I probably together have spent roughly 60 years in uniform. Him in the Army, me in the United States Air Force. I retired just a year ago. And in all that time, we and many of you, in many capacities, took a solemn oath to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And so that is why we are here today. And so let me share with you the constitutional sovereignty letter that we are transporting to Washington. We accepted this on the steps of the Virginia House of Delegates, the Virginia General Assembly. We stopped in Fredericksburg. Now we stop here. At 4 o'clock this afternoon, we will go into the office of House Minority Whip Eric Cantor, present it to him as the senior Republican official in the House of Representatives, and then we will go out onto the steps and at 4:30 present the sovereignty letter to the remaining members of the Virginia delegation who gather there with us. It is addressed to all members of the United States Senate and House of Representatives who represent our Commonwealth, and it reads, Honorable members of the Virginia delegation to Congress. The 10th Amendment to the Constitution of the United States reads as follows, quote, the powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution nor prohibited by it to the states are reserved to the states respectively or to the people. These words define the total scope of federal power as being that specifically granted by the Constitution and no more. Moreover, the 10th Amendment was added to the Constitution to address fears that the national government would assume powers not expressly delegated to it by the Constitution and the states and the people. Without this amendment, ratification of the Constitution in its formation would have been in doubt. Article 4, Section 4 of the Constitution says that, quote, the United States shall guarantee to every state in this union a Republican form of government, end quote. And the 9th Amendment states that, quote, the enumeration in the Constitution of certain rights shall not be construed to deny or disparage others retained by the people, end quote. Furthermore, the United States Supreme Court has ruled in New York versus United States in 1992 that Congress may not simply commandeer the legislative and regulatory processes of the states. Regrettably, it appears to us that a number of proposals from previous administrations and other proposals that may be anticipated may further violate the Constitution and the clear opinion in New York versus United States. Therefore, with the same firm resolve that the founders of Virginia, those closest to the mind of the original intent of our nation's founders, we, the undersigned members of the Virginia General Assembly, call upon the Congress of the United States and each member of our congressional delegation that they uncompromisingly honor and protect states from unbridled federalism, a protection we enjoy under the 10th Amendment to the Constitution. We therefore serve notice to the United States government to cease and desist, effective immediately, mandates that are beyond the scope of those constitutionally delegated powers. Furthermore, we in this Commonwealth assert that all compulsory federal legislation that directs states to comply under threat of civil or criminal penalties or sanctions, or requires states to pass legislation or lose federal funding, violates the spirit and intent of the authors of our Constitution, given this day in the city of Richmond, February 16th, 2010. And so we will deliver this document today into the hands of the Virginia delegation representing us in the United States House of Representatives. And we take it there, knowing that you share with us the views of this document and of our precious Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Virginia.
Yes.